Thank you, and thanks to the Rotary Club for inviting me along to do this demonstration. I have been in around the city for a little while. I manage a property down near Rathdowney where we have 500 cows at the moment. So my dogs are actually working dogs. I don't do many displays, so it could be interesting to see how things happen. These ducks haven't been out in public much, so that'll all be fun. What you have here, Chief, is actually one of my working dogs. I do a bit of sheepdog trialling and three sheeping, and I do a bit of yard trialling and all those sorts of things, which is a bit of fun. He'll work mobs of cattle and bits and pieces, and all of what I do, it doesn't matter whether you're working three or four or five ducks or three sheep, educating a dog to work is only developing their instinct. So you just keep building them up as time goes on, and you go further and further. Now, some dogs' instinct will allow you to do little bits, and other dogs will allow you to go further and further, and that comes back to breeding and selection. And that's what it's all about. Now, you'll see dogs about the Kelpies and cattle dogs, and a lot of dogs live in the city environment that you come across. The thing is that you can take the dog away from the work, but you can't take the work out of the dog. And that's just the genetic picture that's in them. So if they're living in the city, they'll decide to work anything they want to. So it's our job as owners and people who look after working dogs to teach them to work when we want them to work and build up the focus that way, and teach them to relax when we can. Now, I've got a DVD I made a couple of years ago. It's exactly about that, how to develop the dog's mind and body and during the growth and stuff for them to understand and live in any environment. And that's what we want, nice, quiet, happy working dogs. Today I probably won't work for a long time. I'll do a bit of a work and show you what's going on and explain a few things. But it is very hot out here, and part of living and working with dogs is looking after our stock. So I'll keep an eye on the temperature and make sure things are going all right, and then we'll put him away before he gets too hot, and then we can talk a little bit more and do a few other things. Now, in the process of training these dogs, we teach them to go left and right, backwards and forwards. On a station, you basically work with their instinct as in a gathering dog and let them work that way. When you start trialling demonstrations, you get a bit more fancy. So, all right, we might get in and do a little bit for a minute, and I'll just show you a few things and I'll explain what's going on. Now, I'll use a red cane I use for a pointer, and it helps me to manage the ducks in close. I can haze them a little bit with that. Now, I've used it at the start to teach Chief his side commands. So I just teach him to go one way like that and the other way like that. And little things like that allow us, it's an extension of our arm, and that's all it's about, which gives us a bigger hand signal and things like that. So you've got to have them having confidence with you and confidence with what's going on. Now, I'm going to have to get someone just to talk along for a minute, because this dog's pretty new to this game, and with the mic and everything's coming from the distance, he won't understand what I want. So my lovely wife, Cathy, is going to do a bit of talking and just explain what's going on while I walk around here now.
Hey Cathy, my money's on the ducks.
Oh, that's nice.
Chief.
Hopefully some people are supporting Chief. Okay, when Eric first started training Chief, he had to just work with what was natural for him and then slowly put his commands on. That's the way we build them up from young pups, and they start working just generally in this contained yard from about 4 months old. Okay, we'll just let the ducks out. See how Chief's not taking his eyes off them.
And they're having a discussion about which way they're going to run. What do you reckon, guys? Oh, Chief's sneaking up behind them.
See how Chief's covering them, but he's covering them at a distance. That gives him space to move when they take off.
I think they'll just work out they can't fly.
They're not very old. In September, these were little yellow ducklings now everywhere.
You sure he's not thinking of his dinner?
Well, you never know. So Eric's trying to take the ducks through the obstacle between the witches' hats with sheep. So he's going to be very gentle. There you go, big cheer. Whey! He's going to cover them before they take off in the wrong direction. Still keeping his distance, he doesn't come in real close.
You sure these aren't remote control ducks? They're all doing it together in synchronisation.
Should do this too.
This is synchronised duck manoeuvring.
Yeah!
Look at that, folks. It's interesting, I was telling Eric before, my sister, when she was out at Charleville, she had a puppy Kelpie and a blue heeler. And both of them kept rounding up all the sheep, not the sheep, sorry, all the chickens at her place. So she had to put the dog out to a farm and put them to work because they love to work, these dogs.
I made the mistake of doing that here when one of our pups was young. I used to get her to muster the chickens in, and then she decided that they'd be great dinner. So I had to stop that. There you go.
You just got through us. What are some of the commands he's actually giving the dog?
Mainly just over and away, which direction to go. Move the over and away is left and right. Stop or drop. And his whistle. You know, the amazing thing is you can send these dogs up over almost a mountain to collect the stock on the other side. Places where you never get with your motorbike and your horse. And they'll just bring the stock back.
Look at that face. Give him a big round of applause. Isn't that fantastic? He's just kept those dogs all the way around.
Go, Chief.
Actually, I wonder if you could train them to round up children at home.
Yeah, they do that. It's not very nice sometimes.
Is there a limitation to how many sheep a dog can round up, or does it really matter?
Eric's had his dogs round up 2,000 sheep in 1 mob at different times. We used to live in Bendemeer and they had about 10,000 sheep. So the mobs were big and they were moved quite frequently. So mustering them off the camp and getting them through the gate. And the dogs can just about do it on their own. I think they just need us to open the gate, really.
By themselves. You send them out once. Even if you don't command them.
The question is, does he fetch the newspaper for you?
No, he won't touch a ball either.
Definitely a working dog. Oh, folks, give him a big round of applause. The tricky part, as he said, getting them back in the cage. They made their escape, they've been for a wander, now he's got to somehow get them back in there.
Yeah, and the board that's running off the side is actually a wing to help focus the ducks where they're going.
It's almost like a battle of wills now.
Very good.
Oh, look at that, folks. Give it up, boys and girls. That was Chief.